All right, so we're diving deep today. And by popular demand, might I add, into Shakespeare's Macbeth
Oh, yeah.
and its cast of characters.
Yes.
I guess think of it like getting a backstage pass to the motivations, the desires, and the flaws
Yeah.
that make these characters so unforgettable, centuries later.
Right, right.
So to navigate this world, we're going to be using a GCSE overview as our guide, which, it's really designed to help students understand these figures for their exams.
Hmm.
So it's going to be jam-packed with insights into, those iconic figures, Macbeth, Lady Macbeth,
Well, of course.
Banquo, the
Yeah.
witches, King Duncan,
Right,
Macduff,
yeah.
even those who pop up a little less frequently, like
Yeah.
Malcolm and Fleance, right?
Yeah.
We're going to look at how they all contribute to the play's enduring impact.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
by the end of this deep dive, our goal is that you'll really have a firm grasp of these central characters,
Yeah.
what makes them tick, how they're all connected, and why they're so crucial to the play's lasting power. We're really aiming for those light bulb moments where everything clicks and you see how these figures, tap into something so timeless about human nature
Mhm.
without getting lost in a maze of overly academic jargon,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
I mean, who wants that?
No.
So let's just get straight into it.
Yeah.
Let's start with the main man himself,
Yeah.
Macbeth.
Right.
The source material makes it clear that Shakespeare presents him initially as a true hero, almost larger than life.
Absolutely. You see the captain even describing him as brave, like
Yeah.
Valor's minion,
Yeah.
It's like courage itself favors this man.
Wow.
He's praised for his brutal efficiency in defeating Macdonald. And
Right.
what's fascinating here is Shakespeare's choice to present this admired figure right from the start.
Yeah.
It makes his fall, his descent, all the more dramatic.
Right.
And really emphasizes that corrupting influence of ambition.
Yeah, it's classic tragic hero stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That fatal flaw. And then we have this real turning point, which is when the three witches arrive with their very tantalizing prophecies.
Right.
Now, the overview really highlights Macbeth's instant, powerful reaction to what they're telling him,
Mm-hmm.
Like he's going to be the Thane of Cawdor and then the King of Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even more striking when we contrast that with Banquo's more measured skepticism, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, were these prophecies just a seed planted in ground that was already, fertile? Or did they actually awaken something in him that was lying dormant?
Right, and that's the key question here.
Yeah.
And if we look at the bigger picture, the source material suggests that the witches, they act as this catalyst, igniting those pre-existing desires,
Yeah.
maybe even unconscious desires.
Right.
And his ambition, that vaulting ambition, as he calls it later,
Yeah.
that's his hallmark,
Fatal flaw.
his fatal flaw, right?
Yeah.
It's this inherent weakness
Yeah.
leading to his downfall.
Yeah. Straight out of Greek tragedy, right?
Classic, yeah.
So this sets him off on a pretty dark path,
Oh, yeah.
starting with the unthinkable
Mhm.
regicide, the murder of King Duncan.
Right.
And it doesn't stop there, right? The consequences just spiral. I
Absolutely.
mean, he goes on to order the murders of Banquo and Macduff's entire family.
Yeah.
It's like he crosses this moral line, and then he's caught in this cycle of violence, fueled by paranoia and this desperate need to hold on to that power he's taken by such terrible means.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think about his relationship with Lady Macbeth throughout this.
Oh, yeah.
Initially, they're partners, driven by this shared ambition.
Yeah.
But, the overview points out that Lady Macbeth often seems like the stronger one, the more decisive one.
Right.
She even manipulates him,
Yes.
questioning his courage, his
Yeah.
masculinity.
Oh, yeah, to push him towards action.
Exactly.
It's her, right, who says, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under pate.
Right.
Yeah, it's chilling stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But then their dynamic, it shifts, doesn't it?
It does.
As Macbeth gets more and more entangled in this guilt,
Yeah.
and this relentless pursuit of control, he begins to act more on his own, even keeping Lady Macbeth out of the loop,
Right,
And
right.
it really shows you how criminal acts can break even the closest relationships.
Exactly. Their isolation becomes a direct consequence of their choices.
Yeah.
And, the source material really focuses on the huge psychological impact of Macbeth's actions.
Yeah.
Like, immediately after killing Duncan, he's overwhelmed by guilt.
Right.
He even says, sleep no more.
Right.
That insomnia, it becomes a symbol of his shattered inner peace.
Yeah, the loss of innocence.
Right.
And you can't forget those really vivid manifestations of his guilt, like the hallucination of Banquo's ghost at the banquet.
Oh, yeah.
That's his past literally coming back to haunt him.
Oh, for sure.
And as he faces the consequences of his actions, he even starts questioning the meaning of life, right?
Yeah.
That famous tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow soliloquy.
Right.
It's like a complete psychological breakdown,
Yeah.
all because of that unchecked ambition.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the woman who really was a driving force in those early acts.
Yeah.
Lady Macbeth.
Yes.
I mean, the overview really portrays her as having an even more ruthless ambition than her husband, completely fixated on becoming queen.
Right.
It's almost
The sheer intensity of her ambition is quite striking.
Yeah.
The source material actually highlights this powerful plea of hers to the dark spirits to unsex her and fill her with direst cruelty.
It's intense.
It is, and and then she says that shocking line about dashing out her own baby's brains if she had sworn to do it. It's extreme, right?
Yeah.
It really emphasizes the extent of her ambition, how she rejects those traditional feminine roles.
It's a moment that really sticks with you.
It does.
So unsettling.
Yeah.
And it sets the stage for her crucial role in Duncan's murder.
Right.
The overview reminds us that she's the one who meticulously plans everything. And just relentlessly pushes the hesitant Macbeth into action.
Right. She manipulates him.
Yeah, by attacking his courage, right? Questioning his manhood.
Yeah.
She's the one behind those first bloody steps towards regicide.
Yes.
And right after the murder, she's the one who seems to be in control, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, the source material points out how she orchestrates that whole cover-up, planting the daggers on the guards, urging Macbeth to keep up that appearance of innocence, right? To look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under sink.
Yeah, she's the pragmatic one in that moment, trying to control the narrative.
Yeah, but that strength, it doesn't last, does it? The overview details her tragic downfall as she becomes completely consumed by guilt.
Right.
I mean, that sleepwalking scene, right? Where she tries to wash the imaginary blood off her hands.
Yeah, and her sleep talking.
Yeah, revealing all those dark secrets. It's like, even the seemingly toughest people can be broken by their own conscience.
Oh, absolutely.
And then her suicide, driven by that unbearable guilt, just really drives home the consequences of their actions.
Yes.
Now let's shift gears a little and talk about Banquo.
Oh, right.
I mean, he's such a contrast to Macbeth, isn't he?
Oh, he is. He is.
The overview really emphasizes that, he's this voice of reason, of caution.
Right. A more morally sound response to those witches' prophecies.
Yeah, unlike Macbeth, who, almost immediately embraces their word.
Right.
Banquo's suspicious. He warns Macbeth about those deceptive half-truths.
Right.
I mean, he really embodies that moral integrity and loyalty, both to Duncan and to Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Even after Duncan's murder, Banquo pledges to fight against what he calls the treasonous malice. And he even suspects Macbeth, right?
Yeah.
Saying that he plays this most foully for it to get the crown.
Right.
And his ghost, that's fascinating too. Yeah. The overview points out that it's this symbol of Macbeth's guilt, the impact his ambition had on their friendship.
Right. It's a constant reminder of his betrayal.
Yeah, pretty heavy stuff.
It is.
Okay, so on to those mysterious figures. The three witches. I mean, they are such a huge part of what makes this play so intriguing, right?
They are.
The overview describes them as these enigmatic figures, morally ambiguous.
Yeah.
Their whole thing seems to be to disrupt the natural order with their, cryptic and often misleading prophecies.
Exactly.
It really makes you wonder, how much power do they actually have?
Right.
Are they just messengers of fate, or are they manipulating Macbeth's free will?
Are they playing on his desires? It's a big question.
Yeah, that ambiguity is what makes them so fascinating.
Right.
And they deliver some pretty key prophecies, right?
Right, yeah.
Macbeth becoming Thane of Cawdor,
Yeah.
then King of Scotland, Banquo's descendants becoming kings, the warnings about Macduff,
Yeah.
the whole no man born of woman thing.
And harm Macbeth.
Right, and that he's safe until Birnam Wood moves to Dunsinane.
Right.
It's these prophecies that drive so much of Macbeth's paranoia and actions, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, they really fuel his downward spiral.
And again, we see that contrast between how Macbeth and Banquo react, right?
Yeah.
Macbeth just jumps right in, embraces it all, while Banquo stays cautious,
Right.
skeptical.
Yeah, it shows their different approaches to the unknown, I guess.
Yeah.
Fate.
Okay, let's talk about King Duncan now.
All right.
He's portrayed as such a good, virtuous ruler.
Oh, yeah. The ideal king, really.
Yeah.
The source material consistently shows him as just trustworthy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He values loyalty, which we see when he praises and rewards Macbeth for his bravery on the battlefield.
Right.
He really embodies that concept of the divine right of kings.
Yeah, so his murder isn't just a crime, right?
No, it's sacrilege.
It's this disruption of the natural order.
Exactly.
And the overview makes a point about Duncan's trusting nature.
Yes.
He can't see the darkness in Macbeth's heart.
Right.
He even says there's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. Is that dramatic irony, right?
Right.
We know what Macbeth is thinking, but Duncan has no clue.
Yeah.
And, his goodness, his virtue, it really highlights the sheer awfulness of Macbeth's crime.
Yes.
The source material points out that Duncan's murder brings chaos and disruption.
Yeah. Not just in Macbeth's mind, but to all of Scotland.
Right, like even the natural world reacts, right?
Oh, yeah, the storms.
Yeah, the dark, that unnatural darkness.
It's like a reflection of that broken order.
So now, on to Macduff, who becomes really crucial later in the play.
Right.
The overview presents him as this figure of total loyalty, first to Scotland and then to King Duncan. You see it in his reaction to Duncan's murder, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's horrified.
Yes.
And then he refuses to go to Macbeth's coronation. He doesn't trust him at all.
Right.
And then his story takes this really personal turn, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I mean, Macbeth orders the murder of his entire family.
Right.
And that just fuels his desire for revenge.
Yeah.
It goes beyond politics.
Absolutely. It becomes deeply personal.
Yeah, and ultimately he's the one who fulfills those final seemingly impossible prophecies.
Right.
The overview explains how his birth, his untimely rift bush.
It's just cesarean section.
Yeah, the cesarean section creates this loophole in the prophecy.
Right.
No man born of woman can harm Macbeth.
But Macduff wasn't technically born in the traditional sense.
Exactly, and so it's Macduff who kills Macbeth.
Yeah, and paves the way for Malcolm to take the throne.
Right, that restoration of order.
Yeah, a real sense of poetic justice there.
It is. It is.
And fate coming full circle.
Okay, before we wrap up, the overview does mention some of those minor characters.
Oh, yeah, briefly, yeah.
Like Malcolm, who, represents that potential for order to be restored, and Fleance, Banquo's son, whose escape kind of hints at future conflict.
Right, that continuation of the prophecy.
Yeah, they might not have as much stage time, but they still contribute to the overall themes.
Oh, absolutely.
So to kind of sum up all these relationships, the source material really lays it out for us.
Yeah.
You have Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, who start as this ambitious duo.
Right, a partnership.
Yeah, and end up isolated, consumed by guilt.
Exactly.
Then you have Macbeth and Banquo, which shows us two very different reactions to temptation.
Yeah, two different paths.
And with Macbeth and the witches, well, that's all about fate versus free will.
Oh, yeah.
And how seductive those seemingly destined outcomes can be.
Right.
Macbeth and Duncan show us the betrayal of trust and that disruption of order.
Right.
And then Macbeth and Macduff, that's the classic good versus evil.
Yeah, the ultimate confrontation.
Yeah, the fulfillment of prophecy.
Right.
And even those less direct relationships,
Yeah.
like Lady Macbeth and Duncan or Banquo and the witches.
Yeah, they add more depth.
Yeah, they really do.
And if we zoom out a bit and
Yeah.
think about these characters in relation to the big themes of the play, the source material makes those connections really clear.
Right.
You see the destructive nature of ambition in Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, even in how Banquo and Duncan respond. The idea of guilt conscience, that's central to Macbeth and Lady Macbeth's journeys.
Right.
That whole debate about fate versus free will is everywhere.
Yeah.
You see it with Macbeth, the witches, Banquo, even Macduff.
And then, of course, you have appearance versus reality. Macbeth pretending to be loyal, Lady Macbeth faking innocence.
Right. Duncan's misplaced trust, the witch's ambiguous pronouncements.
It's all connected?
It's fascinating, really.
Oh, it is.
And the overview ends with some really good advice for anyone analyzing these characters.
Oh, yeah.
It says we need to go beyond just, retelling the story.
Right.
We need to understand their motivations, how they change throughout the play. There's
Yeah.
key relationships, those pivotal moments.
Yeah.
And we should be using specific quotes, thinking about the context, considering different interpretations.
It's about understanding the why, not just the what.
Exactly.
It's about digging deeper.
Right. It's not enough to just know the story, right?
Right.
You have to understand what's driving it.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Macbeth and its characters, we've really looked at who they are, what motivates them, and the often tragic outcomes of their choices.
And hopefully this has given you a clearer, more nuanced understanding.
Right.
And made you feel more confident about exploring this, pretty complex play.
Yeah, less intimidated.
Yeah, exactly.
And after all this discussion about their motivations, those prophecies, it really begs the question, how much control did Macbeth and Lady Macbeth actually have over their own destinies?
Right.
Were they just playing out a preordained fate, driven by their desires?
Yeah.
Or was it some mix of both?
Yeah, it makes you think.
It does.
It's a question that's still relevant today.
Oh, absolutely.
Food for thought, I guess.
It is, and hopefully it encourages everyone to keep exploring this amazing play.
Absolutely. All right, well, that wraps up our deep dive.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Right.